This is The Scoop for Monday.
I'm Josh Holton with the WMNF News headlines. May was Mental Health Awareness Month. WMNF's Julia Ferrara reports a survey conducted by the University of South Florida and Florida Atlantic University addresses Floridians' feelings towards a handful of topics.
Stephen Neely, an associate professor in the School of Public Affairs at USF, says opinions vary on the place of artificial intelligence in the healthcare industry.
People are comfortable with AI being used for administrative healthcare tasks. Scheduling appointments, taking intake data, collecting symptom information, even to an extent for it being used to assist a doctor in making a diagnosis. What they are not comfortable with is having AI replace doctors in roles that they traditionally would do.
The survey also found that more than 1/3 of adults in Florida report some symptoms of anxiety, and 1 in 5 experience clinically significant levels. The rising access to online information and AI platforms may be playing a role in the increase in health anxiety among Floridians. Nearly 30% of the respondents displayed symptoms commonly associated with hypochondria, or the excessive use of the internet to research health information that often leads to heightened health-related anxiety. For WMNF News, I'm Julia Ferrara.
This hurricane season is expected to be busier than average, according to NOAA. WMNF's Chris Young reports that as Mental Health Month ends and hurricane season begins this month, it's important to prepare not only your home, but your heart, too.
Clara Reynolds, CEO of the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay, says most folks' hurricane anxiety comes from the fear of the unknown. One way to alleviate stress is to prepare for the hurricane, both physically and emotionally. Reynolds says, as you're gathering your essentials like water and batteries, don't forget to pack some self-care items too.
And maybe that's a good book. Maybe that's a puzzle, a crossword, word search, whatever that might be, which will allow you the opportunity just to take a breath, disconnect from everything that's happening so that you can regain the composure to move forward and be able to make decisions about what you do in the aftermath of those hurricanes.
She encourages those with storm anxiety to reach out to a friend or the Crisis Center at 211. You can also find a list of disaster mental health resources at WMNF.org. Chris Young, WMNF News.
Florida's legislative leadership has finally solved their impasse on the state's budget negotiations. Tristan Wood reports that lawmakers will start putting the budget through the formal process to approve it tomorrow.
The current agreement will include a $2.25 billion reduction in recurring state revenue. That includes the elimination of the business rent tax, as well as passing $350 million worth in sales tax exemptions, and more. This agreement comes after the legislative session sat in limbo for a month, with House Speaker Daniel Perez pushing for a permanent reduction in the state's sales tax. Senate President Ben Albritton was not on board with that permanent reduction. This agreement signals that permanent sales tax reduction will not be coming. How the state will reduce spending with this revenue cut will become clear during the 3-day budget conferencing process, which will begin on Tuesday at 9 a.m. If no more road bumps are hit, lawmakers should pass a budget to go to Governor Ron DeSantis' desk by the end of the week. I'm Tristan Wood.
An environmental group Friday filed a formal notice that is a step towards suing the federal government over protecting manatees in the Crystal River National Wildlife Refuge. The Center for Biological Diversity alleged violations of the Endangered Species Act because of understaffing at the refuge, which the notice said serves as a winter habitat for about 20% of Florida's manatees drawn by warm water springs and vegetation. The Crystal River Refuge is the only national wildlife refuge created specifically to protect Florida manatees. Governor Ron DeSantis signed 2 education-related bills making significant changes. House Bill 443 allows charter schools to adopt stricter codes of conduct than traditional public schools and expand enrollment beyond initially approved levels within facility capacity. Critics argue this could lead to discriminatory practices such as restricting hairstyles. The bill was approved by the Senate in a 30-7 vote, which July 1st it's going to take effect. Some thunderstorms later this morning, partly cloudy today with highs in the mid-80s. Thunderstorms tonight with overnight lows in the lower 70s. Stormy weather tomorrow with highs in the upper 80s. I'm Josh Holton with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop, recorded at WMNF Tampa.